Okay, this is it. We got here to module 7. What is module 7 all about? Party. Module 7 is about finding happiness, the pursuit of happiness. Module 7 is all about fun and diversion. Module 7 is what you've been working so hard to achieve. And here it is, pom pom, it's the cake. Here it comes. It's the cherry on top. It's the dessert. It's the goal. You are crossing the finish line, and that feeling that your work is paying off. Wah, wah, wah. It's the time to acknowledge that you can stand on the podium and receive the Medal of Achievement, that you're getting the reward. And here it comes. Da, na, 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 na. This is your big graduation. And here's the trick. Fun and diversion is something that we want to infuse throughout our lives. Because if it's no fun until you achieve the goal, how will you even know how to have fun when you cross that finish line or when you reach that point? Literally, I'm going to give you an example. We're going to Disneyland, and my daughter was like, yeah, I don't remember when we were at Disneyland before. What's it like? And I'm like, really? It's a lot of like standing around in line with your loved ones, interspersed with like 90-second exciting adventure rides. But the rest of the day is just either walking around or standing around with your loved ones. And she's like, not that fun. I'm like, hey. So it reminded me to put the fun in while we were standing in line. What we can learn from our kids, right? If we're really just paying attention. So here's what we did. We started playing like that heads up game that Ellen DeGeneres had put on. You can download the app, super silly. It's a little bit of a charades type game. But what happened was the magic, because everyone else who's standing in line, just waiting around for their 90 seconds of thrill ride with their loved ones, was like, hey, can, we play with you? Or, it was sort of an unsaid thing. If we were playing, other people just chimed in. Suddenly, our part of the line was like engaged and having fun and laughing. And, naturally, the time that you stood in line was not only felt like it was going more quickly, but it was fun all along the way. That's the secret of success. That's the secret to making the hardest challenge exciting and fun and doable. And it's how you engage everybody into the process, because everyone's part of the process. And it's not just waking up too early and downing a cup of coffee and, going back to the coal mine, whatever. But you get it. It's all about the fun, fun, fun. And that like in some groups of people, that you just can be like, oh, here comes the interrogation. They're going to ask a question. I'm going to answer the question the best I can, A, B, C, or none of the above. And it might be conversation over dinner, or you're going to a dinner party with people who you find fascinating, and they talk about philosophical things or situations, and what would you do, and would you rather do this or that, or given a situation, or have you ever, those kinds of things, where suddenly you're put to thought in a whole new way, and you're challenged to how can we innovate something coming forward. And or how can we create something together, even if it's a meal or a project or cleaning up the house. Oh my God, I haven't told you this story. Captain My Captain is a game we play at my house. And you'd never guess, but that's actually how we get our house clean. Captain My Captain. One of us takes the lead, and we're the captain of that room, and we figure out what needs to get done, and then we delegate the activities, and then the room is clean. Yay! Here's the trick. In the next room, someone else is captain. So if you give somebody the job that they don't like, or that they're not good at, or they don't have the support, you don't solicit the support or explain how to do it, in the next room, they're going to be the captain, and they're not going to treat you with the respect that you wish. They're going to treat you the same way you treated them. So Captain My Captain is a game that we play to get the house clean. It's also a game that we play to work together as a team, showing communication, trust, and respect. There you go. I got Captain my Captain in. All right, with that, I am going to go to the slides. Share screen. It's like I forgot how to do it all of a sudden. Boop. Here we go. Very fun, very exciting. From this side, module 7. Come on, baby. Here we go. I mean, this is the process that I take everyone through. Do you remember where we had to like actually make a decision that we were going to make a change in our lives? Or maybe a change was thrust upon you in your life and you needed to identify with the who you are now, stepping into who you are becoming. We built an advisory board of people who could support us on that. And we pulled in the people who were supportive in our energy, and we let go of the people who, or we just pushed them a little bit further out on our relationship spiral if they weren't able to help us either emotionally with a subject matter expertise, if as an accountability partner, or someone who could leverage their position to help us succeed. We were reminded on how to protect what's valuable, to update your legal documents, to care for the vulnerable points that you might have in your life, and also for those you love. We talked about health and self-care in such a way that it is so much more important that you take care of yourself so that you can live a full and happy life, so that you can fulfill your life with the experiences that you wish to, and that you're setting a role model for those who you love, and that luxuries may not actually be a luxury because you are so important. We talked about recalibrating relationships, how some people lean in and some people lean out, and who do you need to pull into you, and what kind of, I call it currency, do they need so that you can motivate them with love to like engage in that in a certain way. Like I would motivate the kids to have fun at Disneyland in the line by playing, by being playful. Career, revenue, and resource. We talked about how to increase our income and how to, evaluate fixed and variable expenses. And here we are at fun and diversion, so you feel valuable. And that's what this is all about. That's what it's been about all along. You're born to pursue some sort of something. When you're born, you're like reaching for some homeostasis. You're either like, I need to breathe on my own now. And naturally then we'll alarm somebody if things aren't right, if we're not in that balance again, if we can't find calm. So you're born to pursue this, and I'm going to call it happiness, this calm, this serenity. When things aren't working right, we set the alarm. And even as an infant, as a brand new baby, one of the first things we do is like, whoa, it's cold out here. And we set off the alarm by crying. I'm too hot. I'm too cold. I'm hurt. I need changing. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm tired. I need stimulation. I need entertainment. I need love. So these are the 7 simple topics that come up. And those basics remain as we are nurtured by our surroundings as we grow. And then as our desires become more specific and more complex, they become as stylized as our personalities. They are our needs become as unique as the environment we're in, as the opportunities that are presented to us are the ones that we create for ourselves. Our desires go beyond the basic too hot, too cold, so temperature, needing to comfort, if you're hurt, if you're tired, if you're hungry, if you're thirsty, if you need stimulation, entertainment, or if you need love. And we customize those based on our inspirations, our creativity, as well as obstacles and threats that come into our lives. Rarely is life smooth sailing. Even the best sailors adjust navigation based on the elements, the wind, the tide. And we can loosen the sails and allow the tide to take us wherever it may go. We can let go of the rudder. We can let go of the wheel. And if we like where we are drifted off to, we'll be happy about it. And if we're unhappy about where we're going, there it is. That's totally fine way to live. Or you can create a vision to set a course and enjoy the journey, adjusting to the wind and your sails, helping you on your journey, as well as the storms that may challenge and alter your course. It's up to you to maintain the helm and adjust when necessary. When you are intentional in the way you live your life, you live with purpose. You live and learn from your life experiences. You live with no regrets. But if no one has taught you this, how are you supposed to know? And if no one's taught you how to address your personal life with the same precision and strategy as you would approach your academic experience or your career, it may be time to find a guide to ease your suffering and struggles on this path and help you get onto a path, a well-lit, well-guided path that's very, very clear so you know where you want to go. So I was referring back to, like, we're born with this pursuit of happiness. And as we are born, we suddenly seek this calm, just like a plant or a tree or seed is growing and it's reaching for the enrichment from the soil. And then it's breaking through the soil and it's going to look for the sun. So this is the same thing that happens to us. Once we get into a situation, we're going to find what makes it comfortable. Where is our calm? Where is our balance? And we're going to look for that sun, the energy, the revitalization, the fun and diversion of what's good about this situation. And even in those scenarios, like this picture here, this is, I think they call it a fairy ring, and it's redwood trees that grow in a circle. So that happens because there's this one huge redwood tree that's growing, and it drops the seeds for the future trees to grow. Once that primary tree has died and disappears, these other seedlings are growing around it. And they are going to be fighting for the attention of the sunlight to do all the photosynthesis that they need to grow into these incredible, masterful, gigantic trees. And you are like this because there are going to be obstacles in the way. You might need to grow around a situation so that you get the best light. You might change your course in what you're doing or learn to navigate so that you're pursuing your particular path of happiness. And all of that is a reminder, because the plants grow a little bit each moment. It's basically imperceptible to us, but we can see the stop motion once a plant grows quickly. That the joy of life is in the moments, and we connect this string of moments together, and that creates this enduring sense of happiness. It doesn't mean that we're not running into obstacles or pitfalls or that we don't have challenges in life, but that enduring feeling of many, many moments of joy is what creates that feeling of overall enduring happiness. But again, you can't just be like, I am happy. Nobody would even believe that. It's the moments that come together that create that overall, it's not a regression to the mean. It's that abundance of happiness is where you spend most of your time. And we talked about that in several different ways, because you have your emotional dial. You can choose how you feel about situations and how you respond. We talked about that when we were discussing in health and self-care of how do you set a tone for resilience enough that even when you're faced with challenges, you're aware of how your body responds. Your heart beats faster, your palms might sweat, you tense up. And knowing that, do you remember the roller coaster? This is my daughter and I running from the waves on the beach. But you're preparing your body, and your body is preparing you for stress. And knowing that it's doing that will literally change the physical response that we have to stress. So knowing that the highlights of life come in the moments in between and how you respond to things. So how do you put joy back into life? How do you How do you smile again and laugh again after huge, tremendous, traumatic life changes? And I give you permission to do it. I do. And no one can really give you the permission but you. But it's a reminder of either we played a game of remember that time when we needed a moment when we were having the most traumatic time in our life experience. I would quickly come up with remember that time when, and I would fill in the rest of the sentence with remember that time when we were up, up out in the beach and we were running from the waves. There's an example right there. Everyone was happy in this moment. Remember that time when we were on vacation together. Remember that time when the babies were born. Remember that time when, whatever it was, whatever it is, you can either remember a time where you did feel safe and loved and not alone, that will bring you, and it literally changes your brain and your physiology of holding those pearls. Remember those moments. But also it's planning so you know that they can come up again in the future, to have not only good things that have happened in the past, things that are happening in the present that are good in between. Like people say when they're working with me, um, it's as if Michelle will allow me to cry at the kitchen table and make me laugh. Yes, you can do all the things. You can experience more than one emotion at a time. So highlighting the moments in between really means dancing in the kitchen when you're making the dinner, or emptying the dishwasher, or something that you might consider drudgery when you don't have Captain My Captain, because I just make cleaning the house fun with Captain My Captain. But think of a picnic on the beach, or if you haven't gone hot air ballooning and it's something you desire to do, put that in the works for the future. What is something you used to love to do together and now you're not? So how do you adjust your mindset on that so that you can put something like that in your future? And don't just think of fun as the cherry on top. It's the fun we weave into our everyday life. Joy's the pearls along the way. So whether you're taking a walk, enjoying a meal, putting music on while you wash the dishes, these are the things that sometimes when you're feeling so heavy in the midst of grief, you need the lightness to take a breath. This is when real friends show up and they turn on the ridiculous song and suddenly everybody is Tom Cruising into the living room with their microphone and singing. It's like, this is what makes the difference. How do you put joy back into your life for others as well as for yourself? And one of the ways that we can do that is by including rewards. And rewards could be, when I'm done with the dishes, I can listen to music. When, it's what do you love? So put together the list of things you love to do. And I seriously, and please take this exercise seriously. The list of things you love list is vital, because when you're hurting or going through a traumatic loss or a traumatic experience, traumatic divorce, if a change in life of any kind, you need the list of things you love because you literally forget them. So please pause this, take 5 minutes to start the list and keep going through it. I have some right here. I love these pretty colored Dutch mints. It's my favorite candy. They're a reward for when I finish this recording. So, it's like any size reward. Do you get to go take the dog for a walk as a reward? Do you get to hug somebody? Do you get to, what do you get to do, experience, taste, hear, feel, smell? What's your reward for getting the work done? And one of the things that I talk about, I have this theory, I call it the gold thread theory. And it's my philosophy that each of us has a figurative gold thread through our bodies. When we're run down, not feeling confident or competent, that gold thread gets thin and brittle. When we're feeling vibrant, This thread enhances and its luminosity just flows through and exudes from within, giving us this radiant glow of beauty, joy, and happiness. Literally, if somebody is glowing from within, it doesn't matter what's going on the outside, they look attractive. So let's talk about tips to enjoy life celebrations and milestones. This is a big deal. And the whole point of this one is really about planning with intention. And a lot of what our work here is giving attention and intention to different aspects of your life. It can be overwhelming to get through life's celebrations and milestones when you're going through big life changes. Do you create new traditions? Do you honor old ones that could come with grief, but also with gratitude for things that have happened in your life, for people who have entered and affected your life, for experiences you've enjoyed? The path that you set with your loved ones differs from your life in your life once you've made these big changes. And what you're doing is good enough. It's actually super fantastic. You can find control in an out of control situation by finding one thing that you can do. You're expecting a lot of yourself. So let me remind you, you are safe, loved, and not alone. So if you're feeling grief or loss or something like that, it's important to remember, rather than allowing grief to have a hold on you, but to identify what inside grief you treasure, honor that. And that's a way to enjoy life's celebrations and milestones and have fun and diversion. So once you can get through that, well, what did I learn from this experience, from this person, from whatever you've just been through, then you can honor that, and honor who you were, because you've changed identities. And even if it's the former you, the gratitude for what you've learned. So those are the ways that you can take joy in the little things. So you can either, like on a birthday, I'm going to say a birthday, or an anniversary, or a holiday, any of these days that are meaningful to you. If you just let them happen to you, you could literally get washed over by a hurricane and just be like, ugh. The emotions come up. I've done this on purpose, like in a safe environment. I seriously had an emotional hangover for days. And I'm like, okay, I've done that. I do not need to do that again, but I have done it. So I have experienced it. And the emotional hangover is real. It's a real deal. If you can adjust your approach to that and not just see what happens, like letting go of the rudder or letting go of the wheel, but give it intention. It's going to be my big day, whatever that day is. Here's how I want to honor that day. Do those 1 to 3 things. I promise the outcome will be so much kinder. So plan with intention, plan with attention. Give yourself that loving care, as if you were somebody who loved you as much as you care, and then take it from there. And this is what it's all about. So come out and play. Let's talk about play. Ancient philosophers Plato and Aristotle discussed the role of play in education, but specific play theories were not developed until centuries later. In the early 1900s, Maria Montessori postulated that play is child's work, as it's sensory learning. In the same era, John Dewey positioned play as preparation for children to become healthy working adults. In 1920, Sigmund Freud saw play as a means of releasing painful memories and feelings. Later, in 1972, Brunner proposed one of the main functions of child's play was to rehearse actions to various real-life scenarios in a safe, risk-free environment, so when confronted with a difficult situation, it would not be so stressful. I actually just did this with a client today. We played out many different options of a situation so that she had an opportunity to respond to each of them. Jean Piaget's theme was playing is rehearsal, Piaget was most noted for introducing the stages of child development as a way to adjust one's own views to meet the needs of the outside environment. Lev Vygotsky postulated that children use play as a means to grow socially. In play, they encounter others and learn to interact using language and role playing. You've heard that. More recently, the American Academy of Pediatrics highlighted the importance of play in promoting healthy child development and maintaining strong child-parent bonds. The Academy, the American Academy of Pediatrics shows play is essential in development because it contributes to the cognitive, physical, social, and emotional well-being of children and youth. But play also offers an ideal opportunity for parents to engage with children. And play is important. It's so important as an optimal child development process. And it's been recognized through the United Nations High Commission for Human Rights as a right of every child. But why should it be reserved for children? So let's all join in the game. Let's all go out and play. One of the things that I offer to parents, and it can work in any situation, is play listening. And it's a chance to let your partner, doesn't have to be a kid, make the choices. Here's what we're going to do. And you set the tone. I can allow 15 minutes for this program. So for 15 minutes, you let them take the lead, you let them choose the game, and you play however they want. It's this huge gift. And then what really happens if you, I mean, this is the big secret sauce, so don't tell the kids, or don't tell, whatever adult you're playing with. When you're letting them take the lead, they're going to play act and they're going to share what's going on with you if you can listen to the meaning behind the message. And what you're doing is giving them the lead, just like in Captain, My Captain, you're giving them the lead and they will actually tell you what is really going on with them. But it takes a loving moment to share and really, really listen. So come out and play. So we were not the first ones to think that we should lighten up a bit, especially when we've gone through hard times or goof off. And games, for example, are a formalized expression of playing. And whether it's dice, tiles, boards, tops, darts, these things have been found in archaeology throughout the world, throughout all time. When we play, dopamine is released, which induces elation, excitement, and it orchestrates nerves that have a net development and alignment all over the brain. So I share with you this positive prescription to play. Literally, like you need a prescription to play, to relax, to have fun in the little moments in between every other life experience. If it, like, look at this kid, throwing a ball gently with the kid is giving this kid an opportunity to say, this is silly and I can be resilient and all of that stuff. It's just so fun. The other thing, remember we did the advisory board. I have another person to add to on your advisory board, which is the Fun Meister. And sometimes you're with friends and you know that if you can spend time with one specific friend, you will always be laughing, no matter what the circumstances are. So remember the Fun Meister in your group and take time so that you can spend time with the people who lift you up and just make all the situations a little bit brighter, a little bit easier. You literally, if you can be relaxed and calm enough and your 7 situations of temperature and hunger and thirst and entertainment and love, and if you're, all the things, if those are taken care of, you can relax enough to have fun. And that's why you don't want to wait until you cross the finish line to have fun. You want to be able to pal around now and have a good time. So remember to find your fun meisters. This is what fun and diversion is all about. And I want to just remind you that you've got the clear signals that if you're feeling like you're not having a good time, you need to find your fun meister. You don't want to go too long in your life without someone who's going to uplift you, without you uplifting yourself with all of the tools for everyday renewal that we talked about, be they making sure that you're hydrated and nourished, and that you have meditation as a tool in your tool belt, that you're relaxing in nature and you're breathing in a calm way. So you want to make sure that you are putting yourself in a position to pursue your happiness, just like you were innately instructed to do when you were born. But here's the thing. This is the framework. This is the process that I take people through. And when I work with somebody one-on-one, we really address all of these topics and we figure out which one needs the attention more than another. And literally in a few weeks, their confidence of each aspect of their life goes way up, up, up. And that's what we want it to be about. That's why I wrote the book I did. That's why I invite people to learn from my experience. What, as my client says, your hindsight brings me foresight. And I put this picture of the bus here because there was such a big moment that when I met this bus driver, and she's like, where were you when my sister needed you? And the sister had lost her husband and really, didn't have a career of her own. She didn't know how to take care of her health and self-care because all these things were done and set. She didn't have to think about them. She went to her husband for everything. She didn't need an advisory board. And every aspect of her life had come into question when her husband passed. So this is an extreme scenario, and not all of my clients have to lose someone to benefit from the life worth living process. But here's the deal. In her situation, she didn't stabilize herself or her kids' lives. She spent the inheritance on trying to fill a need by purchasing things that didn't serve her in the long run. The kids got involved in risky and dangerous behaviors. Her son died by suicide and her daughter didn't want anything to do with her. So she lost so much more than her cherished husband in that story. And I don't want that to happen to you or the people you care about. So remember to ask yourself, how much longer will you wait? And don't wait too long, because if you're getting a clear signal that you're not having any fun, that there's a separation between who you are and how you're living with who you believe you should or could be in your life, that's the clear signal to know that it's time to reach out to a guide to change that suffering to enjoying all that life has to offer, so that you don't have to live a life of being depressed, burnt out, hopeless, or stuck, or lonely, or just feeling lost, worried, or feeling like you're not enough, or feeling heartbroken and letting that feeling of like burnt out depression just keep you in bed all day. And don't be hopeless. There's so many great things to live for and do and experience and taste and see and smell and hear and connect with other relationships with people and animals and nature. The life experiences are endless. But don't wait. Don't wait. Know that you can have a life worth living now. And if your emotions are telling you something important, and you're using the emotions that you're experiencing or someone you loved are experiencing are burnt out and depressed, they're telling you it's time. It's time to reach out for a guide. So if you don't already have the source of my guide of the life worth living process in the book that I wrote and this program, then make sure that you accept my gift. And you can just click onto this website of yourlifeworthliving.org and download a copy for yourself, or go to the QR code and it'll bring you right there. And if you need more, then I am happy to take some time and reach out and make sure that you have everything that you need to have a life worth living. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. I'm so honored that you've taken the time to move all the way through these important aspects of your life to create a life worth living, filled with fun and diversion and happiness and joy and laughter. And thank you so much for sharing it with me. Make sure to give me feedback. You can go to my webpage here at yourlifeworthliving.org. In the upper right-hand corner, I don't know if you can see it on here, there's a little mailbox. I don't know if I can change it where I'm at. There's a little mailbox. So reach out to me and tell me, what did you learn? What went well? What can we do better? And how can I help you succeed? I adore that you've gone through this program with me. Thank you for sharing your time and your life. Mwah.